Okay. This is it.
Take two. So
Little Miss Sunkissed, huh?
I don't know about that name still.
Why? I think it's a cool name.
I don't know. We'll let the fans decide. I think you need
Okay.
to scoot in a little closer. I don't bite. So yeah, we filmed this before, but the mics weren't working, so we're gonna redo this. I'm sure that happens to everyone, but we're definitely rookies. I just kind of let Jack do everything, and I sit here. Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, we decided that, well, this has been a long time coming of us trying to like do a podcast. I don't know what this is going to turn into, but right now we're going to put it on our YouTube and we're going to go back and forth on doing some podcasting episodes and some like regular episodes that we have. And yeah, we just kind of, I don't know, I guess like the kids are both in school now. It's kind of like a time where we could do this and share a little bit more about our life. A few things have happened, especially last year and this year already, that are kind of exciting. And yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a cool year to start this. What do you think?
Yeah, it was definitely like I feel like a little bit of in both our goals. We definitely wanted to do this because we wanted to get back to YouTubing, but it became like a hard task, a very time-consuming thing.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was a little bit too much. And I'm like, oh, maybe we could do a podcast because it's a little bit easier, a little less time-consuming.
Yes.
And you don't always have to think of ideas. You don't always have to have a camera in your face, like filming everything.
Yeah, I feel like doing the vlogs is super fun. Should I wait for that helicopter?
Yeah. There's one like every 10 minutes. It's like we're back in Tugan. Tugan pause, babe.
Yeah, so what was I saying?
Just why we're starting up the podcast.
Yeah.
Why we're not doing the YouTubes.
Oh yeah, so the YouTube was always really fun, but just like so hard to edit, and then especially with two kids now, it was just almost impossible. And then our filmer moved away, so there was like a lot of reasons that we kind of stopped it. But I did find a new editor, so that's really exciting because like just editing takes so much time that we just don't have. And yeah, we wanted to start this, kind of like fill you guys in more. I think we're gonna use it as more of like, not so much like a Q&A, but like just kind of talking about like maybe things that we don't usually talk about like on the vlog or our Instagram, and just be a little bit more open with you guys.
Yeah, I think it's just more insightful. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, totally. So where should we start?
Okay, so I think the best place to start is probably coming off the back of Special Forces. We're at episode 5, is it 5 and 6 have aired now?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're at episode 5 and 6.
I think we're halfway. So yeah, last year around I would say March, I got offered to do the show Special Forces. It's on Fox and Hulu. And it was definitely a big decision. I was still pretty much nursing Coda at the time. He was almost 2.5, and I've never been away from the kids for more than like 2 days, I think, at that time. So when I got offered, it was definitely something that like I had to think about. But Jack was definitely on board because he thought it was just something that like I'll probably never ever get to do again. And yeah, after I told him yes, I did go on a surf trip, and that's when I weaned Coda. But yeah, it was
that was all my idea too.
Yes, I went
Right.
on a surf trip. That was my training. I only got like told, I only got told a month before. So I think some of the casts got told a little bit sooner, and they got to train a little bit more. But looking back on it, I wish I trained a little bit more of my arms. Even though I'm a surfer, I did get to do one pull up by the time I left, but that was just one pull up.
Yeah, I can remember that because it was like there was like, I feel like a bunch of
it a little low.
I feel like a bunch of things were happening like a bunch of things happened kind of all in once. So it was like your friend had a bachelor party, and then like as that happened, bachelorette party, as that was happening, that's like when you got invited to do the thing, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of hardcore because you're like your first trip away basically was going to be this like like your first long trip away, I should say that, was going to be like a gruesome special forces challenge.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you should do something fun before you do. You should have like you should go and do whatever you want to do before you go on this trip.
Which was a girls' surf trip
Girls' surf
to
trip,
Mexico, down in like Salina Cruz Barra area. They're just like it's a fun area to surf, not really to do anything else. We just surfed the whole time. We didn't party or anything. Not that moms go wild, but yeah, it was a really exciting time for me. I feel like just because I just came off of like, I don't know, having a baby, having two kids is like just, I feel like so hectic. I mean, at least for us, I feel like a lot of people will tell you like, oh, it's, you've had one, the second, it's just like a no-brainer. But for us, it really rocked us. For me, it really rocked me because my health kind of got a little rocky for a little while. And I feel like last year when I got told, it kind of was like this, I don't know, I kind of not found myself again, but like it was just an exciting time. Like I'm like, whoa, I got this again. Like stuff is, happening and I can do cool things again. Especially after weaning Coda, I felt a little bit more free. But yeah, it was really exciting to get chosen to do it just because it's just a really cool opportunity. But going into it, I did not know how intense it actually was going to be. I feel like I watched the show and I was just kind of, I was like, oh, these celebrities are kind of just making a big deal of this. Yeah. So like, I mean, I trained a little bit, but I guess I always am training, but not for the show. Looking back, I wish I trained a little bit for the show.
Well, it's very hard to do specific that specific type of training because it's like obviously it's not regular training. It's more so like mental endurance, gonna throw you into a ton of different challenges to see if you can overcome it. It's not really like you're gonna go jump off a bridge. You're not gonna go jump onto a helicopter.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's never
not really stuff you can prepare for in day-to-day living.
I've never skydived or jumped, bungee jumped. So I was like, whoa, this is gonna be the first time that I'm gonna just do this stuff. And I mean, they gotta make it pretty safe because it's being filmed. So I'm guessing like it's probably gonna be the safest time I'd ever get opportunity to do this. So yeah, there was a lot of like excitement / like me being pretty like emotional because I'm away from you guys for so long and the kids. But yeah, I think going into it, I definitely wasn't as prepared as some of the cast. Like I know one of the girls, Chrissy, who is Kim Possible's voice, which I think was really cool. I didn't know it at the time until we got to know each other on the show. Her husband was like in the Army Special Forces, and he kind of like pretty much like trained her, and I feel like she was so mentally strong and like knew kind of what was up, and I definitely feel like it helped a little.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
like the gassing.
The insight to all that stuff would definitely be advantageous. But going back to Special Forces, since we're up to episode 5 and 6 now, how are you feeling about how the show's come out?
So I was really excited to see the show. I was like, wow, people are gonna finally see how athletic I am. I'm not just this like ditz surfer girl, I swear. But then watching it, they didn't really show me the first few episodes. I think because I was kind of doing relatively well. For me, any of the endurance stuff or like swimming stuff, I found probably easier than some of the casts because, some of them never swim or, live in the middle of America and they're not really around the ocean too much. And I feel like even from swimming in the ocean to a swimming pool is like such a different feeling. So I feel like I had an advantage there, but it wasn't really shown because maybe I wasn't struggling too hard. And I feel like they don't show a lot of things like how many punishments we got. We got like, we had to hold rocks over our heads if like one zipper was down, or if somebody had food in the bunk area, there was like, a big punishment. So hopefully they'll show more of that, because I feel like that was almost more intense than even doing the challenges. It was like the nonstop, having to be ready or getting yelled at for doing something wrong. I remember I called the bag a bag. You're supposed to call it a Burke. And he was like, get down and do 20. And it's just like, it's one thing to see on TV, someone kind of like yelling at you, but like for those guys are so intimidating. I feel like I was not mentally prepared for that. Like I thought I could handle people kind of giving me shit, but it was on a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like the first few episodes. Yeah, obviously you weren't shown too much.
Yeah.
So I feel like the fifth and sixth you were shown.
I was shown a lot. Well, yeah, they were definitely concentrating on the bigger names, people that were falling off, because basically by day 3, almost half of the cast fell off because there was just a few that VW'd and a few that got injured. And I think they just had to, concentrate on those people, show those people a little bit. And then by I think it was day 4 or 5, I can't even really remember. It's all just kind of a blur now, but I definitely started getting more emotional, missing the boys. I wasn't able to talk to them or know anything about what was going on back home, kind of vice versa. And we had a challenge where they told us to put on these masks. Like they gave us like this 30-minute spiel of how to put them on. So I'm going in there thinking, oh yeah, we're going to, put these masks on really well and go, retrieve this box. And we had to like put these numbers in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like I got this. But as soon as we got in, they of course ripped our masks off. I flipped out. I think I just was like already on the brink of kind of being emotional, and that just set me off. And I literally was like hyperventilating at the end. That cry where you just like, like you can't, it's just coming out. You can't stop it.
Yeah, no. I feel like, well, that's what they did. It looks like they did it on purpose, but we've been talking to it. It's like, yeah, they don't want to show people just going through the motions super easy.
Yeah.
They want to show people breaking. They want to show people having a hard time. They don't want to show people just like, oh shit, this person's just killing it. Like, yeah, they don't want to show that.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of funny because like they weren't showing me, and now they're showing me that I'm just like this crying person, and then I cry in front of the DS when they just ask me a simple question, and I'm just like,
you're at day 5 and 6. Though.
Yeah,
and is it 5 and 6? Are you day 5 and 6, or is it just episode 5
I think
and 6?
I honestly don't know. You guys will have to go look.
It kind of feels like
we're definitely in the middle of it. It's definitely middle of it. And going into it, my manager told me it was 8 days. So I was like, 8 days. I got this.
Yeah, okay.
But it was 10 days. And it like thinking about it, I'm like 10 days. It's not that long, but it's like 10 days of just nonstop things, and you're getting yelled at and you don't know what's going to happen. And you're living in this kind of gross environment. You're sleeping on cots, which I actually found not as bad as what I thought. That was like my one thing going into it. I was like, how am I gonna sleep good?
Because you are such a pedantic sleeper.
I am a pedantic sleeper. I love like my face mask, my earplugs. I actually snuck a face mask in there. But yeah, like it was definitely one of my worries, but I ended up sleeping really good, even though we only got to sleep from like 12 to 6 a.m. every night. I think they did that on purpose to like exhaust us too. It was like the full deal. I mean, I'm sure the real special forces have it like way worse. Mm-hmm. But when I first got in there, I'm like, there's no way like they just treat people this bad when they're signing up for the army. But then they kind of explained why they do it. And it's kind of to like weed out the weak. And it does make sense. But at first I was like, why would people treat anyone this mean?
Because going into warfare is not nice.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of shown now. A lot of people are like, why aren't you shown? But now that I'm getting a little bit more emotional, I'm getting shown. And then also I almost got my head chopped off by a helicopter.
Yeah. Okay.
Propeller.
So of all the tasks that have been shown so far, which has been the one to you that is like, oh, I would definitely don't want to do that again?
It was by far the gassing. Yeah, the gassing really sucked. It definitely really sucked. I don't know. I just maybe if I was prepared and they told me, I could have like took a breath but I think I was just so freaked out. And then go and when you go into any challenge, they give you like a brief overview, but they only explain it to you once, and if you kind of ask any questions, it's not really, they're not giving you much. Even on like, the first challenge where we're jumping from the boat to the helicopter, they're like, yeah, figure it out, jump from this boat to the helicopter, grab the rope and climb up, and you're just like, okay. So yeah, they're not really giving you that much information, and I feel like you go in like already so adrenaline high, and like it's just, I don't know, it's like a crazy feeling, and you want to do good because like you want the DS to be like, oh, okay, she did good. But I mean, I think I probably passed like half the challenges.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good because they do look pretty complex.
Whoops, I just touched something.
And very easy to fail.
Yeah, no, and then towards the end they kind of trick you. So like for instance, the mask thing, they kind of made it seem like they're like, keep your mask on at all times, make sure this is tight. So they make you think like, oh, it's going to be this way, and then it's not. And then there was another challenge that they're like, you need to go in and save this person. They give you a picture of the person, and me and Golden, my partner at the time, went in and we got the person and came out, and then the guy's like, are you gonna, and then you're supposed to blow up the building once you're done. And he's like, okay, are you guys ready to blow up the building? And in the building were a lot of other people, but he's told us to only take one person out. So we blew up the whole building with the other people. Which, looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I would have saved everyone, but you told me to just take this one person, and you just want to listen to them, but they want to trick you and see if you can like think on your toes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about any of that seeing as it's in the future?
I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I think that will be in the next one. Yeah, that will be in the next one.
Yeah, that's cool. Who surprised you, I guess, up until now? Who's surprised you the most?
I would say Chrissy and Kyla. They were just so mentally strong. I feel like obviously there's football players, swimmers, soccer players. Kayla, who was just like super strong. She's not like an athlete or anything, but she is like so strong and she works out every day. You kind of assume those people are going to do good, but Chrissy and Kayla, they are, actresses or actresses, and they are not as physically fit as everyone, I would say, but they were so mentally stable. They even helped me out like in so many situations just because how mentally strong they were. And the only reason why, I mean, I guess I probably can't really say anything. But they are very mentally strong, and I feel like they surprised me so much of like how much they endured because I think, Kyla only like passed like maybe a few challenges, and every time when you fail a challenge, they give it to you. They're yelling at you, they make you feel like shit. And there's only so much you can take after a while, like especially if you're missing home and you're like sleep deprived in an uncomfortable environment. It's like you only can take so much. So I definitely give those girls props.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
even I would say Denise Richards, like to see her jumping off the bridge, I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to do this now because Denise Richards just did this.
And didn't something happen? Did something happen to?
Yeah, she told us at the reunion that the impact broke her boobs. She has breast implants, so it's like
That's so wild.
she has to get some new ones.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
That's so heavy.
Yeah.
Off the jump off the
jump off the bridge. And it's crazy because they don't really give you that much information, and they kind of mess with you up there.
Yeah.
They'll be like, look down. Yeah, it's a long way to fall, right? Like, and you kind of have to climb over this, like there's no like ladder or like, I don't even know. You're just climbing over this like rusty kind of bridge railing, and it's kind of crazy.
I thought that was so funny when Golden, like, he nailed it, and then on the way down he's doing that pew pew pew.
Oh my god, Golden.
That was so funny. I thought that was and then all the crew, like the sergeants, They just snapped on it.
Yeah.
And I actually found that very funny.
He was hilarious. Like having Golden and Cam, I would say lighten. Like we were in there in our,
Sorry, just checking. Yeah.
we were in the bunk. We were like completely hysterical at times, and they would like open the window because they would be up in this area where I think they'd had Wi-Fi and good food, and they would just yell at us like, shut up, no laughing. But yeah, having them was like so good because it just like lightened the mood. And Golden is just hilarious. I don't know, just him, like his stories, everything about him is just so funny. And he got in trouble literally the day one. They put him in the chicken coop, which I don't know why they didn't show that. But day one, he was like fidgeting. That you cannot fidget when you're like standing in line, and they just put him right in the chicken coop.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Why didn't they show that?
I don't know why they didn't show the chicken. Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah, they didn't
show. Like even when we were getting the bee sting on in the sand, we were carrying logs, we were doing all sorts of things, but they only really showed us going in and out of the water, that was really hard. But yeah, I don't know. They don't show a lot of things that I do wish, but I have heard from past, seasons that you'll be bummed about how much they don't show. Yeah.
Yeah. From my perspective, I feel like, watching it, besides yourself, who's like done really good, I'd say Carrie and Brody. Those two guys.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't surprised. Well, actually, I didn't really know.
I wasn't surprised with Brody in the water stuff because like he's pretty accustomed to that.
Yeah. I feel like, obviously Brody just has it in his blood to just be athletic and good. Carrie, I didn't really know too much about until, I kind of found out like who he was and who he's married to, which is Pink, Alicia. And he always talked so highly about her. And like, he would always tell us like the most coolest, raddest stories. He's like broken every bone in his body.
Yeah.
He's just a really cool person. Like,
which by the way, you could not tell.
No,
he doesn't move like a guy who's broken.
And then by the way, the DS, you could just tell loved him.
Really?
They did like Brody too, but like they loved Carrie. He was pretty much he was. We were like, were you in the army or something? He passed every single challenge that he did, and he did it so humbly and like just,
He seems like a very likable guy.
Very likable guy, very cool. Would like tell us stories about, all his crazy accidents and everything that he's been through. And it just sounds, I don't know, like a cool life.
Yeah. And it seemed like also Brody, he was the first few challenges I've just felt like, I was like, oh, he's just nailing.
Yeah. Brody took it really seriously, which I think like looking back, I did take it seriously, but even watching it, I'm like, ooh, I guess I'm not that good at listening. I didn't know that, but I honestly think I have ADHD or something, like for sure.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah, self-diagnosed. But like for sure I'm something, because like they'll tell me something and it just goes whoop. But like Brody, like, he had his shoes ready and my shoes were off. Like, yeah, he was taking it very seriously. And I think looking back, I wish I took it more like I don't even know. I guess that's not my personality, but he definitely, that like served him really well because he was ready for anything. He listened to instructions really well. Mm-hmm. And then obviously he's like athletic and can do all the things. So it turned out really good for him.
Yeah, that's cool. And was there anyone that surprised you in the opposite way? Where you're like, oh, I thought this person was going to do good? And they kind of struggled a little bit? We
had a really strong cast, like for sure. I guess like I thought Landon, he's a soccer player. I thought he was going to do really well, but I think he honestly was just not feeling it. Like it's not like fun. And I would say the first few days is almost a shock. Like I even was like, oh my God, I think I want to leave on day 2. Like I'm just going to wait for a few people to leave and then I'll leave after them because I don't want to be the first person. And then you kind of get into a groove of things and like life becomes a little bit more simple. Like, I don't have kids around. I'm just kind of listening to these guys tell me what to do. And
you're getting fed.
You get 2 pairs of clothes that you just kind of switch in and out. And You get in the warm room to dry your stuff, and then you go to bed.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day.
I know, it's funny when you come back from it. I was expecting you just to be like dead in a way. It's just been like so, and you came back and you're all like, oh no, it was simple. It was like easy. It was just, you go to sleep because you're really tired. You sleep good because you don't have kids kicking you in the face. And then, and then you're like, oh yeah, you get 3 good meals. And that's one thing that you said. You're like the meals, because you're like 3 meals, and that's all. I wasn't snacking.
Yeah.
I was just
I came back a
3
little
meals.
lighter for sure.
And you were just like, it was breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
Simple. Everything seemed simple. You're like, everything was simple.
Yeah.
And then you're so tired, you sleep really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly think he probably had a rougher time with the kids by himself than me. No.
Yeah, I was going through my own special forces training.
Yeah. Yeah. Like staying home with the kids by yourself for 10 days to 2 weeks, you're exhausted at the end.
That was insane.
Yeah.
And I think it was way harder because I couldn't speak to you.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, I can't like tell you guys too much of like when I get out or anything, but I just remember at the end, all I wanted to do was just like get home to these guys as fast as I can. So I pretty much got out. It was like in the morning, and they wanted me to do therapy because like, yeah, they have us do therapy for like kind of the trauma that I guess that we've been through in the show. And I just was like, get me in a taxi. I want to get to London. I'm getting on a flight the next day.
Yeah.
And I was in the taxi and my feet were like cramping up. Like I've never had like these cramps. It was crazy. I had to have like the taxi driver like pull over. It was a 5-hour drive from like Wales to London. And I was just exhausted, and I was like playing Birds of a Feather song, and I was like, but yeah, it was
Which you were just playing.
I was just playing. I love
that.
that song. Something about it, like, and I'll always love that song now because like it was just I was like still on a high. I think like coming out, I'm like, I can't believe I just did that all. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I'm coming home to the boys. Like, it was like I just got out of war,
Yeah, it was euphoric. I can remember speaking to you because. You hadn't, well, yeah, we can't give away too much, but you just endured so much crazy stuff over the time period you're in the show. And I could just remember speaking to you, and you were like, there was not a wink of like tiredness. You were just like, so like I could feel the happiness like oozing out of you.
Yeah. We were both like crying. It was a special moment for sure.
Yeah. That was super cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like a little gist of the special forces. I mean, so much more happened, but we can't really share too much because it's still going. I think we're like on the halfway mark of the episodes, and
episode 6. So we got 40% more to go. So we got 4 more episodes left, right?
Yeah, 4 more episodes, which is crazy. But yeah, I feel like a lot of exciting things are happening this year, and it'll be kind of fun to like fill you guys in more and talk about kind of really anything.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what you do on a podcast.
That is what you do.
And yeah, we had a good year last year.
Yeah, let's do it better this year.
No, we had a good but crazy year last year. The other thing that happened last year was Coda got his eye surgery. And I would say that was really hectic and
pretty taxing.
Very, just, I don't know, stressful. I feel like we both weren't eating because we were just like, holy shit.
No, it was very taxing.
Messed up our child's life. But his eyes are looking better and better. Like, I feel like he's like 3-4 months postpartum. Post-op, and it's just starting to look better. It just takes a really long time for like swelling and stuff. But yeah, we went to Spain for that. He was born with ptosis. It's where
ptosis.
It's ptosis.
Is it just ptosis?
It's just ptosis. It's a silent P. It's where one eyelid is lower and doesn't like fire like the other one. And we found a doctor that specializes in kids and specializes in like eyes and that specific things. So we flew all the way to Spain to do that, and it was definitely crazy. But I always look back on like those times of us like traveling with the kids and like doing all these crazy things. Like in the moment, it feels so chaotic, so hectic. Like we literally like got on a train 2 days after like Coda's surgery, and we had like people come up to us being like, "What is wrong with your child? Like something's wrong with your kid," because his eyes were just like.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Remember that guy on the train? He's like something. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I think they're infected," because his eyes were so.
I can't remember.
You can't remember that?
No, I can't remember the guy saying they were infected.
No, I definitely can remember.
I can remember
that.
a guy on the train who was like asking what happened.
Yeah, he's like, I think they're infected, and we're like, no, he just had surgery. So he's like, oh, okay. But we would have to, while we were traveling, we'd have to pin Coda down. It was like 5 times a day to put these drops and ointment in his eyes. It was
so
hectic because as a 3-year-old, he did chill for like 2 days, but after that, he just wanted to do things, and it was crazy. It was just a crazy time, but then I always look back on it and be like, wow, that was like so cool we did that.
I don't think it was cool that we had to do that for the surgery. That sucked.
No, I know you never do. But I mean,
I don't look at that. I look at the aftermath of it, and I was like, oh, okay, we had a sick time in Switzerland.
We had a sick time in Switzerland, and even in Spain before the surgery.
That was fun.
It was really cool. We also went to New York with the kids, which was,
that was really cool.
Really cool. I know. See?
There was moments around it.
I know.
But going
moments.
to
Obviously, the surgery was not cool, but around it was cool. It was cool that we, as parents, did that for him, and I hope one day he'll look back and be like, "Whoa, my parents did that for me."
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, like you said, they're starting to look so much better.
Yeah, so much better, and. The reason why we wanted to do the corrective surgery is because if you leave it too long, you can get like vision impairment and like a lazy eye. And we just decided that we wanted to do it while he was 3 and he won't remember.
Yeah.
Some people wait a little longer, or some people were there and with like, a kid that was like 1.5. So it all varies. And I thought that was pretty crazy, but we did it.
We did do it.
So yeah, we had a good but crazy year, I would say.
Yeah, let's hope this year's going to be good, not crazy.
I like a little crazy.
You're all the crazy I can handle.
Okay, and what I want to do is I want to rent our places out on Kauai once we're done with our guest house, and we're going to travel.
Yeah, hopefully that can be done somewhat soon.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of like a gist of our year and what's to come, even though we don't really know what's to come. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think that they've heard enough out of me and us for
I feel like I just talked the whole time, which...
Well, this episode, the start, like the whole theory behind it is kind of be more based around you. And then also, like, it's based off, like where you just did this special forces.
I know. I just watched that show and I hear my voice and I'm like, how do you even hang out with me?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. I ask myself the same thing. Just kidding.
Okay. Well,
first episode done, babe. Whee!
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.